Hello, Big Apple, and good morning. As the great Berlin said, I'm in charge now. And as the great Heath Ledger, as the Joker said, here we go. Resurrection, of course. This process begins. I shall use a logical statement to prove my point, but to make my point, I'll use this book here, Quantum Physics, or perhaps quantum mechanics. Perhaps it is quantum physics, right? I understand the true interpretation of quantum physics. I'm the only one who currently now does. Hence the proof of God revealed. Okay, though I understand science is not theology nor religion. We'll get into science, religion in a couple of videos. For instance, what is death? Part 2. Because I've come back from that. That's a reality. Okay, so we can start from page 13. Second one. We'll look up this perhaps. 13, as a professor of intelligence, I will continue it. It reads mathematical background. Now it reads inner product. An inner product on V, that letter V is important. Note the movie V for Vendetta on the Karman manifested, the Krishna himself, only speaking as Jesus Christ, of course, is a function which has the symbols U, comma V, from V times V to a complex field. Well, this gets into Riemann. I'm not getting into Riemannian spheres yet, but I'm going to name that, and this talks about basically the inner product space and the normalization. Basically has a square root of a, it's not a matrix, but as the book states, it's an orthogonal. And I use that to basically visualize 4 dimensions, which I've done at the Mormon Church in 87th Street and 3rd Avenue. I spoke to a PhD engineer. I will not reveal the name, but let's just say it's with Christopher Hitchens's most intelligent, perhaps, physicist. That's a hint. Okay. So I did deduce Ivan values myself before 312 Brown named it. I'm just saying it humbly, no ego, that actually happened. Though I've heard of eigenvalues before. As I said, I studied at Columbia University. I've seen this pattern. Okay. So, I'll get into logic. Second of my books, as I introduced last video, if my memory serves perfectly. Thus, they say man is a forgetful creature. Though I'm an alien, you can call me the Emmanuel. Okay, which means God with us. It can be absolutely translated as God walks on the water with us. I'm adding that translation from perspectivism of Nietzsche. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Okay, thus spoke Flareon of the Christ Age. Okay. So notice the salesmanship here in humble daylight, as it is 6:32, or my computer 3:32, which means 8 or omega. I'm the alpha and the omega. I see the N before the D. Okay. All right. So, what is logic? And this is what I'll be breaking down. Logic, simply put, is the obvious. I'll decode that in the future. So that will be from this book of logic once again. And we're going to, I'll go into more logic. I'm making a categorical argument in a couple of videos, perhaps now. Thus, I know what pi is. Okay. And last time I showed you the Greek book. So now we have to give the almighty Mammon his credit. Though I don't worship Mammon, I do respect Mammon because it has a sway over man's heart even more than Jehovah does. Or Krishna. Or even you say he's a god, Lord Buddha. Which I've given my obeisance to Amon Gekyo. Though I'm saying it correctly, this is at the Buddhist Center around 14th Street, the number 7 seconds to the. Okay. Alright. Thus, page 17. 7 times 1 is 7, 71 social prime, 71 telos. Get the argument, William Lee Craig and Frank Turok? That they hunted, I hear the bell. It tolls for. Okay. So it talks about small business. So it's the small business. Once again, I'm reopening my math tutoring business. Resurrection. It's called Manhattan. Okay, so anybody who's followed my videos would know the name of the business. Again, I planned this as John in a past life. Hence reincarnation proven. I'm the incarnate intelligence. I'm implying I'm the professor now. But not even saying it, yet saying it. Hypercube proven. 4-dimensional space visualized. Okay, all right, well, it's sent. Okay, so I know people who have hit investing home runs. I've also read some of Warren Buffett's book, The Intelligent Investor. Of course, that's how the professor, or I call the Jesus Professor, Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist, or was a clinical psychologist perhaps, at the University of Toronto in Canada, of course. My mother, my good mother, had a timeshare, which we went to Canada. So all this Jehovah's Witness, every experience you have has a reason, purpose, and an act. If one is wise and intelligent, of course. If not, then the Satan, whom we must respect, because people do worship him, I don't, but people do worship him, he will conquer them due to their stupidity and disunion with the Creator. Okay, so thus I will read from the man I will honor, Splendor, David Zindel. Of course, I've been talking about David Zindel. The Farashi Old Father, the alien. Okay, I've been talking about this, and no, I'm not going to lecture. That's David Zindel's word. Very clearly, I created the word called welver. Okay, this is a word which I define to be the Berlin himself, the crest, essentially. You have to do that for America to take that. All right, so, and I read from page 23, the bronze old number. Notice 2 times 3 is 6. Notice the professor number is 30. Notice the rant. 7 seconds to the end, Ned. Okay. Notice I'm skipping the word attacker. For the Prabhupada says, thou shalt not kill. It implies thou shalt not attack unless absolutely necessary, as Daniel recently knows it. In other words, we are protected from destruction. The more certainly we can assure each other that we can never be protected from destruction. And he says, this crazy logic, though never reassured me, that's how I circle this, notice the alphanumerics of the term, 18, me, I learned that it could break down for a dozen reasons. Watashi el ziris. Thus, QED, the proof of the Creator, the hidden name, did you catch it? The spirit of intelligence. I shall walk on that water again. I say it once. I said it again. I've seen this pattern, Magnus, before.